Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ultimate guide to empowering your people through safety leadership. If this is your first time joining an LSCI webinar, let me give you a little introduction. We are a full service OSHA compliance firm that has a primary focus on making sure each employee gets home safely from work each day. Our slogan is taking safety beyond the standard, and this means that we want to go above OSHA standards and make sure our clients are building a safety culture and being safe because they want to, not because they have to. We want to provide top-notch service that really makes an impact on people's lives. As a safety leader, you are responsible for ensuring the safety of your team and the workplace environment. This presentation will provide valuable insights into how to be a good safety leader and the strategies and techniques you can use to create a safe and secure workplace. So our plan is to discuss what safety leadership is, its importance, and the different roles that it can play. Do safety leaders have to be safety professionals? We're also going to talk about the results of a successful safety leader. What can companies expect by having a successful safety leader? Where to start to become a safety leader? We'll go over the effective safety leadership strategies, which are how to communicate effectively even in the face of resistant and difficult employees, strategies for promoting safety culture and behavior, and best practices for training and engaging your team to create a safer workplace. Lastly, we'll talk about what does an effective safety culture actually look like. Let's discuss the definition of safety leadership. Safety leadership is a management style. Safety leaders interact with other employees to set values, standards, develop policies, and enforce accountability through all parties. When companies have strong safety leadership, a strong safety culture will also be achieved. It's a win-win. Have a full company commitment to safety. Leadership cannot do it alone, but they set forth attitudes and perspectives that allow others to become involved. We'll focus most of our time on the positive results that safety leadership will achieve, but it's also important to understand what happens when there is a lack of safety leadership in an organization. An organization that lacks safety leadership may have issues maintaining quality. They may regularly operate in crisis mode and have team members who are frequently not on the same page. Even worse, they experience more accidents and have a lack of reporting and incident investigations. So in turn, this can lead to insurance costs, employee complaints, and the list just goes on and on. This isn't meant to scare anyone, but if you're able to relate to any of these items, we're definitely hoping to help rectify the situation for you today. So the question has to be, who do we want to be? What do we want to focus on? What are our goals so we know where to, quote, steer the ship? Let's quickly go over what most safety leaders would agree are their ultimate goals. First, we want to increase employee engagement. We want to get them motivated, involved, speak up, and provide feedback. We want less pulling teeth, hearing crickets, lack of effort, and lack of accountability. So we need our teams to comply, follow the safety rules and regulations defined in the written safety programs, and know what's safe and what is not safe. We want to get to a place where all or at least most of our efforts are proactive rather than reactive. Now, here's a big one. We want to improve the overall safety culture. Lastly, and most importantly, we want everyone to be safe. That's the ultimate message that safety leaders need to convey. It's not about setting rules and policing those rules. It's about people and keeping each other safe on the job. As a safety leader, you probably heard all of this and thought, yeah, I agree, but how do I get there? So let's take a look. So before we get into that, let's pause for an Insta safety quiz. Which of the following is a result of successful safety leadership? Incident reduction, boosts employee morale, improves communication and accountability, all of the above, or none of the above? And the answer is, of course, all of the above. So to achieve all of those goals that we just talked about, we need to build our company's safety culture. But what is a safety culture exactly? If you've heard of it before, you might think it's a good idea, but what does it actually look like? Safety culture is the way in which safety is managed in the workplace and oftentimes reflects the attitudes, beliefs, perceptions, and values that employees share in relation to safety. So when everyone believes in safety and understands the rules, it just becomes the way people operate, the way they work, how they talk, what they believe, and how they act. Safety is part of the core values of the company. When companies have strong safety leadership, a strong safety culture will also be achieved. Now, it won't happen overnight. It's a process that will need refining, but you need to start by having a full company commitment to safety. Leadership can't do it alone, but they have to set forth attitudes and perspectives that allow others to become involved. So, host a meeting and set your expectations. Training is unquestionably a huge factor in building your safety culture. Training is what we do here at Lancaster Safety, and we always encourage all safety professionals to lead their teams to effectively get the safety message across and build a strong safety culture. Training is required by OSHA on certain topics and at different frequencies, but how often do you think you should train if your goal is to build your safety culture? There's really no right answer here. We have clients that train monthly, quarterly, or annually. Studies show it can take saying a message 7 or more times before that message fully resonates. That's 7 times. Monthly and quarterly trainings help to speed up the process and get that important training information to sink in. More frequent trainings also mean less length overall, which helps people concentrate better. Safety leadership involves some planning and research. So start by measuring the current state of your safety program. Effective leadership and safety involves communication and collaboration with employees and stakeholders to identify potential hazards and risks and to develop strategies to mitigate them. How safe do your coworkers feel? Some examples can include casually interviewing your coworkers or having them fill out a survey. Identify hazards and risks. You can conduct this yourself if you have the experience or have someone at Lancaster Safety help you out. Whatever your own particular style is, it must encourage transparency. Open and effective conversations occur when there is no fear involved, and team members feel more comfortable speaking up without any fear of retaliation. Once you have a good idea of the current state of your safety program, it'll be much easier to set clear expectations and goals, provide resources and support for safety initiatives, and then lead by example in following safety protocols and procedures. Leaders should set specific safety goals for the organization, such as reducing the number of accidents or near misses. These goals should be measurable and achievable, and progress should be regularly tracked and reported. Our team at Lancaster Safety has an entire software system dedicated to safety and health resources for our clients. Please feel free to reach out and we can help you get started if you aren't already. Develop a safety vision. A safety vision is a statement that communicates the organization's commitment to safety. The leadership team should develop a clear and concise vision that outlines the organization's goals and objectives for safety. Start abating or fixing the identified hazards. Continue to exude a proactive, action-driven approach to safety. Announce your goals and set things in motion. You should also regularly monitor and evaluate safety performance and identify hazards to ensure that safety standards are being met and to identify areas for improvement. Ask questions. How are we doing? A style of questioning that is purposeful and allows engagement. Leaders should communicate regularly with employees about safety issues and initiatives. This includes providing updates on safety performance, sharing best practices, and encouraging feedback from employees. Leaders should model safe behavior and hold themselves accountable for following safety procedures. This includes wearing personal protective equipment or PPE, reporting safety concerns, and addressing unsafe behavior. Continuously improve. Safety is an ongoing process, and leaders should continuously look for ways to improve safety performance. This includes reviewing incident reports, analyzing trends, and implementing corrective actions to address identified issues. Complacency can lead to accidents, which is why it's so important for leaders to be on top of things. In addition to these proactive measures, leaders should also be prepared to respond quickly and effectively in the event of a safety incident or emergency. This involves having established protocols in place and ensuring that employees are trained and prepared to respond appropriately. Be consistent and lead by example. Follow through on what you say. Let's pause again for an Insta safety quiz. Which of the following is true about safety leadership? Safety leadership happens when a leader builds a company's safety culture single-handedly. It involves transparency, good communication, planning, and employee consensus. OSHA has a specific regulation on safety leadership requirements. All of the above or none of the above? And again, the answer is, of course, all of the above. So let's talk more about talking. We discussed how important feedback is, but how do we go about getting it? Step one, encourage employees to get involved in any way possible. This could be as simple as setting up an open door policy with management, implementing a comment or suggestion box, or have them become a safety committee member. Step two, once employees are involved, you should listen to their comments and suggestions and take everything into consideration. Step three, even if their ideas are not going to be used or implemented, always provide feedback to the employee. Not acknowledging the comments can sway employees from providing feedback in the future. Establishing a safety committee that involves management and employees creates an open, inviting atmosphere for possibilities. Ensure that injuries, accidents, and any violations found during inspections are properly followed up on in a timely manner. If employees see that things are getting mentioned and forgot about, they will be less likely to be involved in the committee. We have several presentations on how to develop an effective safety committee, so please feel free to reach out to us and we'll share that with you. How do we get through to people? It's not always easy to do. One of our biggest tips here is to be prepared and speak their language. Think about what the person's interests are and what's important to them. This will help make the conversation more relaxed. Some people are more direct, while others need you to show that you're more understanding. Whatever personality they have, understand it and let them feel seen. People will be more open to you when they know that you care about them first. Also, think about how people learn. Are they hands-on and like demonstrations? Do they prefer visually seeing something? Or are they good with just hearing something and discussing it? When your ideas aren't getting across, sometimes you need to get creative. Ask yourself how you can communicate better. Use visuals to promote safety. Even if people don't read it every time they pass a safety sign, their unconscious minds are picking up the message. Every little message we put out there, regardless of the medium, helps to promote the importance of safety. Talk a lot about safety. Bring it up anytime you see an opportunity. Being in a leadership role can feel like a lot of pressure, but you are not in this alone. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't pretend to know it all or have all of the answers, because you know what? Nobody's perfect. And if you make a mistake, admit it. Your coworkers will appreciate your honesty. Be proud of the improvements and encourage your team. That will encourage them to help out even more. This might look like a duplicate slide, but it's intentional. You will not be perfect, and neither will your coworkers. It can be frustrating when someone has a safety infraction when you know they know better, but punishing them for their mistake can cause more harm than good, if it was unintentional. If you help build people up and let them know it's okay to make mistakes, you'll see a reporting culture start to develop. This means that people will feel more comfortable reporting near misses, safety hazards, and errors. It will also help build a culture of trust. It's also important to note that OSHA has strict laws against retaliating against an employee for filing a complaint with OSHA. By encouraging people to come to you, you can help avoid this situation entirely. Over the years, we've heard leaders deal with unpleasant attitudes. We've heard statements like, safety is just common sense. We don't need to do all of this. I've worked here for 30 years and I've never had an accident. Well, safety is just not my job. Have you ever heard an employee say any of these phrases? We really hope not, but if you can relate, you know how frustrating this can be. Before we can fully figure out how to get our team to listen to us, we have to understand why they aren't listening in the first place. All of these examples come down to one thing. The employee hasn't bought into safety. They just don't believe in it. Be prepared for resistant attitudes. You can't control what other people will say, but you can control how you react to it. Employees need to understand that what if situations like accidents can actually happen to anyone, anytime, and anywhere. So stay calm and collected. Do not yell, argue, or speak in an insulting tone. Use facts, regulations, and/or previous incidents or injury data as evidence to justify your point. Ensure that the employee has a thorough understanding of your reasoning. Allow them to ask questions, provide their own feedback, and be heard. In our Selling the Boss on Safety webinar, we mentioned 3 tactics to use when selling the boss, or in this case, the employee, on safety. Here's our 3 most practical responses to employee objections. Number 1, moral or ethical. We don't want anyone to get hurt, do we? Number 2, legal. In a sense, it's the law. We want to comply with the law, don't we? And number three, business. It costs less to be proactive versus reactive. You like getting a paycheck, right? Well, part of that means we need to operate by minimizing expenses and maximize profits. If reasoning doesn't work, you probably don't want to keep dealing with it. One bad attitude can spread like wildfire, and that can really impact your safety culture negatively. A feasible next step is to take disciplinary action. Leaders can use a progressive disciplinary policy for safety violations. Different companies will have different disciplinary policies, and some may involve a human resources person getting involved or even someone else. No matter how you deal with the situation, don't forget to document it. Let's take a quick break for an Insta Safety quiz. How do you know that you are being an effective safety leader? You delegate safety tasks to all of your employees and keep a close watch to make sure they are completed. Coworkers and employees look up to you and often ask for your opinion. Your employees are bought into the program. They respect and take an active role in meeting the company's safety goals and in the safety improvement process. Or your safety goals are being met all because of the hard work you have put into the program. The answer is that your employees are bought into the program. They respect and take an active role in meeting the company's safety goals and in the safety improvement process. Safety leaders can make a huge impact on a company's safety program and culture. You can positively influence behavior and help keep your team safe on the job. You've taken a step in learning more about becoming a better safety leader. That shows initiative, and it's a great start. We want you to leave with a good plan of what to do next, and we hope we've provided you with valuable tools to help build your company's safety culture. So let's quickly review the steps that you can take. Number one, do your research by collaborating with your coworkers to uncover where your safety gaps are and what are the biggest hazards. Show your team that you care about their safety. People need to know that you care about them before they'll really start listening to what you have to say. Implement a safety committee to drive the company's safety culture and achieve a total company commitment to safety. Make them believe. Explain why we put safety rules in place. It's not about you being in charge and bossing them around or acting like the safety police. It's really to keep them safe and to get them home to their families. If these reasonable approaches don't work, put your foot down and start documenting safety infractions and use a disciplinary policy. Number two, take your findings and set goals. Number three, communicate your goals and safety vision to your company. Four, lead by example. And five, don't strive to be perfect and plan on continually refining your program. Use data to track how your team is doing and evolve from that. Each company's safety challenges will be unique. Complacency oftentimes occurs because people don't know where to turn for help. If you'd like someone to help, we're here for you. Give us a call at 888-403-6026 or visit our website at lancastersafety.com. Thank you and have a wonderful, safe day.